That's the theme that plays whenever I come into a room. Did anyone else have Remember Me on their PS3? Every time you scroll down to it, it would make that same noise. Endless fun. Hello, you sexy biscuits, and welcome into the PlayStation 3. I've been asked quite a few times, what do I think about the current situation with PlayStation and their stores closing down on the PS3, PSP, and Vita later this year? And it's safe to say that I have some thoughts about this. I love video games, I think that's pretty obvious at this point. And thankfully, I'm part of the generation that experienced the PS3 in its entirety. I loved the PS3, and I still do. But there is a whole another generation out there who never got the chance to play some of these games. And today I want to tell you why that is a problem. If you go on eBay right now, there are a ton of retro consoles for sale. Retro stuff has a lot of value and people want to get their hands on it. A game console never really loses that popularity. And in the next 5 to 10 years, I think PlayStation 3 is going to be the same. But what happens when that person goes to the store to download some games and then finds nothing? Sure, you can still download the games that you previously bought, but that would have meant that you would have had to have gone on the store and bought the games in the first place. And currently, Sony doesn't give two craps. And I say that for good reason. We are currently on the PlayStation Store on the PS3 hardware right now. So let's go down to featured. Okay, we've got FIFA 19, that's been on the main page now for about 3 years. Go down to deals. Okay, here we go. Here's some deals. They're all full price games. They don't look like deals at all. And if I'm not mistaken, all of these games are in alphabetical order because these aren't the deals at all. This is just a list of the most popular games. This store has been broken for about 2 years. You can still, in theory, visit the original PlayStation Store website online, but you have to go through a certain link, otherwise you get sent to the current PS4, PS5 store, which doesn't have any PS3 games on it at all. So I ended up going through and finding some of the games that I want to buy before the console gets taken offline. So we have Tokyo Jungle here, an absolute classic that I never got the chance to play for myself. And we also have Toy Home. So I bought Tokyo Jungle. This game is now mine. I own this and I can download it anytime I want. I will probably be making a video on this, which is why I wanted to buy it. I really, really love the look of this game. Plus you can play as a Homo erectus. Giggity. So let's download this onto my console. Yeah, the PlayStation 3 wasn't the best when it came to downloading anything. I kind of regret setting this to download everything now because it's going to go through literally every single item that I bought and it will then download them all separately, which is fun. Yeah, there you go. Homo erectus is now installed. Brilliant. There's my Pomeranian. Fantastic. There you go. Right, now that's only 4 gigs and it's plugged in via Ethernet. That should only take about 2 minutes, right? No, it's 23 minutes. Yeah, PlayStation 3 download times, never the best. So we're going to set this to download in the background and get through this, which you also have to wait for. I was going to make this video to talk about why it's a bad thing the PlayStation Store is being shut down, and right now, I hate it. I'll get there, don't worry. 5 seconds left. Okay, here we go. Now I should be able to look around the rest of the store. Right, well that's not really done what I wanted it to. It still needs to download the giraffe, the kangaroo, the fat cat, the silky terrier, the ERCX, the saber-toothed tiger, the crocodile, the panda, the businessman. So that's fun. We can download all those too. Oh, bloody hell, it's downloading Homo erectus again. You know what, Sony, go ahead and close it down. It's bloody useless. I'm not downloading Tokyo Jungle again. Okay, now the nightmare is over, I will continue to say why this is a bad thing. So thankfully, Sony's made an entire category of games that will be lost forever. They should really rename this to Get It While You Can. All of these are digital only. So as soon as the store goes offline, you will never be able to purchase these ever again. Now, some of these are on the PlayStation Now service on the PS4 and PS5, but those aren't yours. They're being played through a subscription service and they're being streamed. They do not download to your console. I'm gonna be honest, I really want Masquerade the Baubles of Doom. That is a fantastic game. Just gonna quickly add that to my cart because, a couple of years ago, one of the heads of Sony, Jim Ryan, was at I think it was a Gran Turismo event, and he was looking at all the different games they had there, including PS1 versions of Gran Turismo, PS2, PS3, PS4, and he said, I don't understand how anyone would ever want to play those games. They look horrible. And he was saying that to one of the games that made the PlayStation 1 absolutely fantastic. Gran Turismo 1 and 2 were incredible. Throughout Sony's life, the Gran Turismo series has pushed the absolute limit. And if it wasn't for some of those games, millions of people would not have bought Sony consoles. And it just goes to show that they really don't seem to care about older games. Now, to keep these servers up and this store running, which, let's be honest, they don't run particularly well right now anyway, I don't know how much it would cost them. But let's say a couple of thousand to run these every single month. Sony makes billions. There is absolutely no worry about keeping these servers up. This is not even a dent in their income. And it really worries me that it's going to show off what's going to happen in future generations. And what really bothers me about digital-only consoles, the PS5 digital-only, the Xbox Series S, if you buy those consoles and keep them for the next 10 to 15 years, Xbox, well, not Xbox, because Xbox actually seems to care about their heritage. PlayStation will turn around and be like, no, we're taking them offline now, you can't play anything. And I find that ridiculous. Of course, you could go on this store right now and do what I just did with Tokyo Jungle, but you've got 3 months. Go for it. Get on here, spend all your money, get the games you want, because you will never ever get the chance to buy them again. Looking at some of these games, some of these have been re-released on PS4, the Siberia collection definitely has. There are quite a few games on here that are on other systems, but there are Sony exclusives. One of those is the Ratchet and Clank Trilogy. So let's look up Ratchet and Clank. I'm just going to type in Clank. In theory, it will come up. Oh, this is a fun system, I'm going to be honest. Okay, so let's put this in here, and yep, K, there you go. And let's find the Ratchet and Clank Trilogy. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, I'm struggling to find it. I know it's in here. We just have to look really hard. So here is the Ratchet and Clank Trilogy. Now this is £19.99. If you buy this, you get it on your PS3 and your Vita. A lot of these games came out on Vita as well, like the Jak and Daxter trilogy. I think the Splinter Cell trilogy also came out on PS3. There was quite a lot of trilogies at this point that they just kind of put onto these consoles. Now, if you were to look to buy this game, as I said, it's £19.99, and this is all 3 games. This is one of the best collections you can buy. Now, if you wanted to buy this game physically on CEX's website, which I've just checked, it's £50. Yeah, this is going to keep happening. Basically, because Sony has announced that they're taking all these games away, people are going to be searching for the physical copies. And then scalping happens. And that's already prevalent here with the Ratchet and Clank Trilogy. I highly recommend buying this, and I will be before the store closes down. But we've basically been put on a timer. We need to buy these things before the store closes down, otherwise they're gone forever. And that baffles me. It really, really does. There are some absolute gems on the Vita. I love my Vita. I love my PSP. The Vita and PSP, 2 of my favourite consoles ever made. I love them. And there are some absolute gems on here that you will never be able to buy again unless they were released physically. And coming across games physically now is hard. Unless you look on something like eBay, no store sells PSP or Vita games unless you go to a second-hand store or something like Pink Planet. That's the only option you really have nowadays. GameStop and Game in the UK don't sell these games anymore because they're outdated. The amount of PS2 games and PS1 games that sell for really good prices still is insane. There is still a market there. And a lot of the Vita market is from Japan, so getting a physical copy is quite difficult. So they've put a lot of them on the digital store, which is going to be lost forever. I know I keep pointing it out. It's important to keep reminding you, this will all be gone soon. Here's what I think should happen. I think that Sony shouldn't have done this in the first place. I think we should have had at least another 5 or so years. In theory, we should always have access to these games. Because they are making them literally unbuyable, these will now be abandonware. And that brings up the idea of piracy, I suppose. Is it morally okay, once Sony takes all these games off of its stores, to pirate them? Yes. And that blows my mind. I wouldn't generally say that, but right now there's no other choice. Now I only say that about after all the stores get taken down. As of right now, you can still buy these games. Now, I still think some of the prices here are ridiculous. Mafia 2, while an absolute fantastic game, is $24.99, which is very pricey. Honestly, what they need to do is they need to have a massive sale at the end to basically push all of these games out the door. Kind of like a closing down sale. And I'm hoping that's going to be the case. If it is, I will give Sony some credit. If they start giving away a couple of games or releasing games for £1 or something like that, fantastic. But as of right now, there's absolutely no hint that that's going to happen. Sony must know that we want to be able to have all these games and backwards compatibility, but they just don't seem to care, and I don't know why. A lot of it comes down to the heads of the company who don't seem to think that they matter. And them taking down the PlayStation Store is a massive kick in the teeth. It's honestly the worst decision that they've made in a very long time. And it goes to show why buying digitally is never going to be a good thing. Because at some point, that access is going to be lost. Also, the fact that the PlayStation only has a 500GB hard drive unless you upgrade it. So even if you did go on the PS Store around the end of when it's available and bought a ton of games, you're only going to have a certain amount installable. And those games that you aren't able to install, you will need an internet connection to be able to download them. It's not practical at all, and that's why I always recommend buying physically. I love going into places like Planet Games where I live. It's amazing. CEX is really the only other option in the UK we have for games of this era. Right, well, I'm gonna go play some Monsters Inc. running on my PS3, playing a PS1 game. Some PS3s even have the ability to play PS2 games, which I also have one of. And I know there are people out there who are gonna say, well, hang on a minute, this console came out all the way back in 2007, and yes, it came out a long time ago, but that doesn't mean that we'll lose over 2,000 games forever. And apparently, a majority of devs weren't even told, so that's fun. Anyway, rant over. Sorry about that, I just needed to get that off my chest. Anyway, I love each and every single one of you. Thank you to all my amazing patrons who allow me to eat every single month. Anyway, I want to hear what you guys think. Comment down below and tell me. But until next time, wow, I forgot how good this game is. Until next time, that's me, out. Bye, guys.